The WandaVision finale is now behind us, and things are starting to settle in, such as the review scores for each episode, and pretty soon we're going to have a consensus on what the overall series rating is. We don't have that now as there's still reviews coming in from various different sources for various different episodes, but right now, if we look at every episode by episode, we see an interesting pattern, and we also see that the last episode is the worst reviewed one. So at the time of the recording on this video, which is on a Sunday right after the finale, this is how the current review numbers stand as I started to record this video. Obviously this could go up and down by 1% or 2, but I think more or less everything is locked in. And if we look at it, we see that episode 1 and 2, again, very high, 100%. Then it takes a little bit of a dive, and then it recovers, and then it really recovers with episode 5, and then again downwards somewhat. Episode 8 obviously a 96, which a lot of people love that one, including myself, and episode 9 is the one we're talking about because that sits at an 80%, so definitely the lowest one so far. Now I've seen a lot of responses in the comments from you guys with all sorts of various takes, your own reviews, and thoughts on the final episode, and I'm going to break that down in a separate video, kind of breaking down what everybody's saying and why some people were disappointed, why some people were happy, and so forth. But this kind of just brings me around to talk about this particular episode and the critics. And if you look at it, I think most people are looking at this as a sort of departure from the rest of the series, and I think that's definitely what I'm getting from the reviews and why it's the lowest rated one. Because if we look at it, it is very different. And we talked about this extensively in our audio commentary, and we talked about it a little bit when we talk about it in other videos, but when it came to this episode, it felt jarring because it turned into a typical comic book product at the end. Literally, when they start flying around, throwing things at each other, you're like, oh, well, it kind of feels out of place considering that the series was very tame and how grounded they made it feel and how everything else does not match up that final battle. It just seems like it comes out of left field, which is something that I think is definitely interesting and everybody points out. And even somebody like Mitch who loved it, the overall series, he pointed that out, and I did as well. It just felt a little weird to me, and I think that's the big indication here. I'm not seeing anything from any of these reviews saying, oh, the acting was bad, or oh, the series fails on this or that. It's literally that it's just out of place. And I think that's something that sort of happens with everything comic book related. It always has to get into this, well, this is what you expected. And we knew this from the beginning because they said, hey, by the time you get to the last episode, it's your typical comic book style, big bombastic explosions and things. And we see that. So I don't think this is honestly a bad indicator. Oh, people aren't happy with the series anymore. I just think as the episodes go down, the finale leaves a lot to be desired. So with that in mind, how did you guys feel about it? Give me your thoughts, because like I said, I'm going to follow up with a video on a lot of expectations, and it'd be interesting to just get like one single thread under this with people's thoughts on everything, specifically the last episode, and were you disappointed?